I'm Brittany Lewis with Forbes Breaking News. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin discussed the Virginia Department of Education's new report in remarks on Thursday. The report was described as showing Virginia, quote, has not been serving all students well. Youngkin vowed to empower parents when it comes to their child's education and that only, quote, age-appropriate learning would occur in classrooms. Education has increasingly become a hot-button issue. This comes after Florida Governor DeSantis signed the highly controversial Parental Rights in Education bill earlier this year. Here's more from Youngkin's remarks.
Thank you all very much. Thank you. Dr. Atkins, thank you for those inspiring words. And it is extraordinary to have you part of the team. And we deeply value you. Thank you. Today is not just consequential. Today is a moment in time for all of us to recognize we must change direction. We are not serving all of Virginia's children, and we must. We want to be the best in education. We should be the best in education. And the data that is compiled and shared with you today suggests that we have a lot of work to do to be the best. And beyond that, the trends have been heading in the wrong direction. And so we know that if we want to be the best, we have to change those trends and take bold steps forward. Parents across the Commonwealth spoke loudly last year. They want us to restore excellence in education. They want to give their children best-in-class opportunities. And that is what we're all here to do. Each child gets one shot at an excellent education. One chance. And we have a responsibility to do everything that we can to make sure that that child has the best chance. The alarming data points that our state superintendent of schools just shared with us really do make it clear that we are not doing what we need to do to provide every child that best chance. The significant lowering of expectations, the lack of transparency with data, the weak accountability for these results, that all ends today. Partnering with parents, partnering with students, partnering with teachers, with school division, superintendents, members of the General Assembly, and so many others that are here today or joining us online, we must lock arms and march together in order to get Virginia's educational system moving in the right direction. We cannot know where we're going unless we know where we're starting. And where we're starting is not where we thought we were. Now, let me be clear. We use the words our commitment, and we do not use those words lightly. And they're underpinned by 7 principles that we together will use to guide our path. These 7 principles reflect this commitment. And let me be clear. A commitment is a commitment. First, we will establish and maintain high expectations for students, for schools, and for ourselves. We will hold ourselves accountable as well. This is about raising the ceiling and the floor, not lowering the ceiling. We need to close the honesty gap. We must have best-in-class standards in history, in math, in reading, and in science. And in partnership with the General Assembly and educators, engaged stakeholders, we've already begun the work. We've begun the work to ensure that Virginia's children can meet high expectations in reading standards particularly. By prioritizing the science of reading, I was incredibly honored and proud to sign the Virginia Literacy Act a few weeks ago, which requires the alignment of our reading education with the science of reading in all instructional materials, all of them, across the entire Commonwealth. A common programming that creates new individualized reading plans implemented in partnership with parents for those students not on track to be on grade level reading by the third grade. How about this? It provides reading coaches and specialists to support our teachers and tools for parents to be engaged in this journey from home. This landmark legislation specifically focuses on those grade school students who are not reading at national proficiency benchmarks so that they, in fact, can catch up and, oh, by the way, fulfill the dreams that they have, even in third grade. Our second priority is that parents and teachers will be empowered. Empowerment is so critical to our education excellence in Virginia, and we will continue to be a guiding light for the nation on this topic. Research shows something we already know. The two most important people in a child's educational journey are their parents and their teacher. I'll say more about this in a minute, but that is why I am so impatient on getting a budget out of our Senate that will, in fact, raise teacher salaries, provide bonuses for those most important people in our children's education. Parents and teachers must know where a student is in order to assess how to help them continue to excel or get back on track. And so we will institute personalized learning plans for every struggling student not on grade level in any subject, implementing a partnership between parents and teachers. Under the leadership of Superintendent Balo and the Virginia Department of Education, we will work to provide a personalized learning plan template, resources to equip parents, and support for teachers to implement in their classroom across the Commonwealth. Recently, in addition to this work, I had the chance to visit Rivers Bend Children's Center with the First Lady. And we saw how early childhood education, this public-private choice system that we are building, has the potential to be the model for the nation. Rivers Bend Children's Center is a private preschool serving children supported by publicly funded child care subsidy program that parents can use to choose what's best for their child. The best practices in early childhood education: access, choice, data-driven innovation, transparency, and accountability. These best practices can and will be replicated across the Commonwealth to provide our earliest learners a chance to catch up, to get ahead. Oh, by the way, ready for kindergarten, ready for life. Our third principle is that we will demand a zero tolerance policy for discrimination in education and beyond. Every single student deserves an education that does not teach or practice discrimination. We shouldn't be teaching our children to be judgmental. We need to be teaching Virginia students how to think, not what to think. We won't tolerate violations of Title IV and Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, including policies and programs and training and curriculum that advances discrimination. And we will update our history content standards to be best in class. Let me be clear. We will teach all of our history, the good and the bad. We will also teach our children their rights and responsibilities as citizens under our foundational documents, our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, our Declaration of Independence, the Constitution of Virginia. Fourth, will foster innovation. Will foster innovation in all education environments and build on the example of excellence that currently exists in many places across the Commonwealth. I'm constantly reminded that rather than invent it from scratch, let's replicate what's working. And there are so many places that it's working across the Commonwealth. We all know that the one-size-fits-all model doesn't work. We also must continue to support innovation across the Commonwealth, including lab schools, governor schools, magnet schools, charter schools. A few weeks ago, we had the great privilege of visiting a school right here in Greater Richmond called Code RVA. It's a regional high school focused on computer science. It's a magnet school. It enrolls students from 15 school divisions. Code RVA is an excellent example of how innovation and partnership can benefit our students and improve their opportunities. They serve an extraordinary diverse student body. It reflects each of the participating school district students. They serve 2 times the number of students with disabilities than the average school in the Commonwealth. They have personalized learning models. All juniors and seniors participate in relevant internships with businesses and community partners. Nearly a third of the students at Code RVA graduate with an associate degree in computer science. By the way, this school is available to all students in those 15 school districts. So we remain committed to our goal to support the launch of 20 new lab schools, including computer science, across the Commonwealth. Virginia's parents, students, and teachers have not had a clear picture of the academic performance of their students and their schools, and this will change. Brings up our 5th priority. We will be the most transparent and accountable state in the nation. If you are fully accredited in Virginia as a school, that should mean that we are truly preparing the students who go there for the demands of the workplace and beyond. Working with the State Board of Education, we will revise the standards of accreditation to ensure that schools earning full accreditation meet this basic standard of excellence that I think we've taken for granted. And we will provide parents and teachers with a clear picture of learning proficiency, growth, and gaps for every student in the Commonwealth. Now, I hope you heard that. Every student in the Commonwealth, we will provide to their parents, to their teachers, a clear picture of learning proficiency, growth, and gaps. Our 6th priority, our 6th principle, is that we will ensure students have post-secondary readiness. Every high school graduate in Virginia should be either career ready, college ready, or both. Schools need to provide multiple pathways to post-secondary readiness and success through apprenticeships, internships, workforce training opportunities, partnerships with our community colleges. We can prepare our young people to enter high-wage, high-demand jobs right out of high school, if they so choose. Recently, the First Lady and I had the immense privilege of hosting the Virginia Council on Women's STEAM-H Essay Award ceremony at the Governor's Mansion. We heard from 10 phenomenal young women, the leaders in STEM, receiving scholarships to pursue dreams. Their stories, their aspirations were truly humbling and inspiring. You know, STEM and computer science is such a foundational element to the next generation of jobs. We need to make sure that we're preparing our students in high school to be ready. Finally, we must protect freedom of speech and freedom of inquiry. It's foundational to our nation. It's foundational to our Commonwealth, and it's foundational to the places of learning. We must tackle complex, complicated, and uncomfortable topics that are age appropriate in ways that support critical thinking and vigorous classroom discussions, again, that are age appropriate. To support our teaching and school leaders in this endeavor, we will provide training on facilitating these tough discussions and these uncomfortable topics with civility, with grace, and without judgment. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that the General Assembly can help us on all of these priorities. First and foremost, they can complete the budget and send it to me. And let me be clear, we will give teachers meaningful raises that they need in order to be appropriately compensated for the extraordinary work that they do. We will invest in a new way in cooperation with localities in building schools and addressing the facility gap that we know exists all across the Commonwealth. We can fund lab school initiatives and innovation all across the Commonwealth. And the step between here and there being a record education budget never seen in the history of the Commonwealth, is the walking distance between the Capitol and this building. We need to get this done now. The commitment that we're making today, our commitment to Virginians, is highly ambitious. You hear words like best in the nation. We don't use those words lightly. That's what Virginia's kids deserve. They deserve excellence. They deserve our commitment. And they deserve an opportunity to go fulfill the dreams that they have had and will see through. We can't do any of this without parents and teachers at the front of the line. And I hope it's clear. We support both. The cooperation between parents and teachers and a student is paramount. And I know that Secretary Guidera, State Superintendent Balo talk about this every day. And so thank you for both of your leadership. It's amazing. We will see historic investments in education. We will see transparency in how we're doing. We will see a relentless pursuit of excellence. And together, we will see Virginia's education system reestablished as the best in the nation because our kids deserve it. Thank you so much for being here today, and we look forward to this journey together. Thank you all very, very much. Thank you. Thank you, guys. So friends, if you haven't gotten to know me well enough, it's time to go to work. We have a lot to do, and so let's